Good evening again, you guys. So right now for this segment of the program, we've got a panel discussion. We have Connie Dye, Managing Partner of Lions Law PC. We've got Norman Eng, SBA Massachusetts District Office Economic Development. We've got Loretta Chen, Food Safety Expert, and Christian Doan, Boston-based food blogger and marketeer. So thank you guys for being here, and let's start a healthy discussion, I suppose.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. You all have very good food. Excellent, excellent. So I'm going to start the panel discussion. Early on, I was chatting with Tiffany and Tran. We're talking about what is the theme of the panel discussion today. I'm like, oh, I got 3 panelists, all from different perspective. They bring different perspective in the food and the restaurant industry. It's just very difficult to find a common theme. But I think we are here today to celebrate Mara's achievement for the past 6 years. And with enormous support and endorsement from MRA. Steve Clark is here today, the CEO and the president. We've seen Mara provided a lot of resources and phenomenal assistance to the Asian restaurant here in Massachusetts. So let's give a shout out to Mara. Thank you, thank you. So I'm gonna start with so each panelist, Norman, Christian, and Loretta. If you can give us a very brief introduction about yourself and what do you do, what's the most exciting part of what you do, we'll start it from there. So Loretta, you first.
Okay, I'm Loretta Chen. I was the first female food and drug inspector for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Way back in the dinosaur ages. So I've been in the food industry for 45, 50 years, and basically my services, I've come back out of retirement because I'm finding that a lot of restaurant owners are getting different forms of behavior from the local health departments. So basically, I came out of retirement to act as a food safety consultant. I want the proprietors of the restaurants to know that there is support for you amongst the Asian community. And basically, what I can help you do is that teach. The main thing is to educate our kitchen staff and our workers on food safety, because this is no longer a fun and games situation. 45 years ago, people never heard of us. Every place I went to, they asked me who my parents were. So I spent 3.5 years going to the state of Massachusetts in food processing plants, restaurants, different agencies. Like I've even gone into places like Cedar Junction, the prisoners, everywhere. So I've done a lot of different things, and my thing to the Asian community is that I'll be willing to help you guys. We need the support. I can teach everybody what the protocol is, starting from the local level and up. So just know that your local level is not it's the only board of health that you guys can rely on if you have issues. So there's a step-by-step procedure, and I'm willing to help the Asian community to try to get past the things that are going on out there. So, I bought a book with me, and I have the Chinese food manager's book written in Chinese, and I suggest that every restaurant have a copy of this so that your chefs and something that can read and follow, because now you have to do a lot of different food safety issues in the state of Massachusetts.
Thank you, Loretta. Norman.
Hey everyone, my name is Norman Eng, and I work as Public Affairs Specialist for the U.S. Small Business Administration in Boston, and we power the American dream. We do that by offering access to capital, counseling and technical assistance, and also government contracting opportunities and a host of other resources to small business owners. So I'm a connector, and so if anybody is interested in learning more about SBA programs and services, please do connect with me, and let's introduce you to lending, government contracting, and technical assistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Norman. So Christian, our food blogger, have 67.5K followers.
Thank you. So yeah, my name is Christian Duan. I am a social media, internet food blogger. Basically what I do is I try to put the spotlight on particularly Asian restaurants around the area, mostly in the Boston area, but all over Massachusetts and New England. Telling their story, trying to help them to maximize their reach, relevance, and hopefully revenue in this and then the next generation of diners.
Thank you, Christian. So I can ask the panelists, a couple of questions for each of them. And Loretta is actually, she's being very humble. She's the first female food and drug inspector in Massachusetts, and she works for 27 years at the quality control in seafood at Cisco. And Loretta, based on your past experience, what are the most common problems that you've observed in Asian restaurants in terms of food safety? And what advice you're going to give it to restaurant owners and chefs in terms of improved food safety?
Okay, as far as from what I see, I used to work in a restaurant myself, so I understand what they have to go through, the owners have to go through with their not so young staff in the kitchen. The main thing is that I don't think they believed in anything such as food safety, but it's a serious consideration that has to be addressed immediately, especially since the pandemic. So the only thing that I can say is that, I say to the restaurant owners, let us educate your staff on how to take care of food safety, and everybody will be in a better place for it. So there's no much, I walk into some kitchens now, they used to have the chefs smoking a cigarette without any hats on and cooking the chicken chow mein. So now when I go into the kitchens, I don't see that anymore. But I think they really are listening to what we're saying out there, and I think that let's just get with the times and everybody educate yourself, and you'll be happy.
Yes, early on I was speaking with Loretta about what she really wanted to stress is there is a support system here for the Asian restaurant owners. It's not like you go out there without any assistance, without any support. Loretta, a food safety specialist, can be here for help. Is there any special assistance you can give it to the restaurant owners?
You know what, I think that the main thing that we need to do is probably, take a look around the kitchen and, just think about how you would treat your own kitchen at home. And I think that, basically, people would sit there and say, boy, I wouldn't do that at home. Well, don't do it in your kitchen, at the restaurant, if you're not going to do it at home. So the way I look at it is that, and actually to educate the people on washing their hands. So the best thing that happened to us through this pandemic was the 20-second washy thing. So the pandemic cleaned up the world, because now actually everybody washes their hands. So I tell my children all the time, I have 2 sons and a husband. And basically I teach seafood hazard too for the federal government. And the question I say to everybody there, with all the males, I look around the table, I said that, I listen to the toilet flush, but I don't hear the water running. So they all start laughing. So we laugh, then we go on to the next subject, okay?
Hey, you calling out all the guys?
Yeah, I am, because it's true, right?
Thank you. So Norman, in your role, I'm sure you have worked with a lot of small businesses. There must be a lot of Asian businesses. Based on your experience working with SBA, working with small business owners, what are the common challenges that you've observed in Asian businesses? Not only the restaurant owners and the other business. What SBA, have been doing in terms of helping them really help them grow and thrive into a business they want it to be?
Yeah, I would say just stepping out of their comfort zone. A lot of Asian business owners, they're not outwardly, focused on connecting with people and outside help. They use more cash and not using the traditional banking system in America for the new immigrant business owners especially. So you don't have to use cash to buy everything. You could get a line of credit from Rockland Trust. My friend Sammy over here, who I just met, yeah. So SBA, so that you know, is not a lender directly to business owners. We guarantee loans and deals so that banks are comfortable enough to say yes to a business owner. Not all business owners have sterling credit, or maybe they have a shortfall in collateral or whatever. So the SBA steps in to help the bank say yes to business owners. So I'd say that just getting out there to some of our events and exploring different resources and options, just getting out comfort zone, get out the kitchen, and network more. Recently, I spoke with a lender that helped a hot pot restaurant in Quincy. Okay, the business owner bought a new building in southern Massachusetts using the SBA's 504 program. If you don't know about the SBA 504 program, you can buy commercial real estate and equipment at 10% down. So there's different programs that a lot of business owners just don't know about, and they don't get out and hear enough about, that they're confident enough to utilize. So I would say connect with me, and love to introduce you to all the programs that you may not have known about.
That's great. Thank you, Norman. How do people reach you if they want?
Find me on LinkedIn. My email address is norman.eng@sba.gov, and my email is always on.
Thank you. Christian, you run a food blog called Chopstick Murphys, and I'm just curious to learn, how did you start this blog? Why did you start it? And how do you go about finding restaurants to write a story about? Just tell us a little bit more about your blog.
Yeah, sure. So honestly, I started it because I was bored at work. So I do my day job is I work in corporate biotech, which is great. It's a great job. I love it, but it's not as fun as the restaurant industry. I used to work in the industry for a long time. And one day I was sitting around and I was kind of daydreaming about, maybe one day I'll open a restaurant, right? I would love to do that. And actually I should ask a lot of your advice if I should still do that. I'm getting a lot of no's from a lot of my restaurateur friends, but I'm still entertaining the idea. But at the time I thought, it seems like a lot of the best restaurants are the ones that are finding the most success right now are the ones that really nail online marketing and social media. It seems like those are the ones where the wait is always long, it's hard to get a reservation. So if I want to do that for my future potential hypothetical restaurant, what if I just start my own marketing arm and become the kind of person where I don't have to pay other people to come in, I can just do it myself. So that's how it kind of started. The name Chopstick Murphys comes from the band Dropkick Murphys. Most people here are probably familiar with the song Shipping Up to Boston. It's kind of the unofficial Boston theme song. And so I figured I would be focusing on Boston food and Asian kind of culture, and so just merge those two things, Chopstick Murphys. That's how that was going.
The next question is, I've watched some of your Instagram episodes, and you do talk about food, but a lot of times you actually talk about the owners, the restaurant, the experience, the ambience. There's a lot of other things that you talk about other than food. Why is that?
Yeah, so I really like to focus on storytelling. The reason is because, we all know people connect to each other through food, but I also believe that people connect to food through other people, right? And so, as an example, how many up here do you guys know what bandeja paisa is? I didn't know either. It's the most traditional Colombian dish. It's like the pho of Colombia. And I had no idea what it was until I started hanging out with Colombian people. And I started building relationships with Colombian people. And then I realized that if we want non-Asians to connect with Asian food, we have to tell Asian stories. And so a lot of my content is around what it was like growing up being Asian, or being Asian as an adult and dealing with Asian-specific traumas and things like that. And I think through that, a lot of non-Asians are able to empathize with us and relate to us, and then take an interest in trying some food that they may not have tried before.
That's marvelous. That's great. I also know that you have experience, doing marketing, social media, in the restaurant industry. Can you give the restaurant owners some tips, some suggestions about, increase their visibility, doing more social media marketing?
Yeah, I think being online is so important for visibility. I mean, most diners will look up a restaurant online on Google at least before checking it out. So I think number one is just make sure your reviews are good. So Yelp and Google, make sure you're pushing to get people giving you 5-star reviews. And then having an active social media presence is important, but it's not super important unless you're in a very trendy young area. In which case you definitely want to be on there, posting consistently, make sure you know how to take high quality videos and pictures, and then definitely make use of, to your point, Owen, like get out there, meet people who are sort of the tastemakers, the influencers in the space, and invite them in and make relationships with them and have them speak highly of your restaurant, because it's the closest thing you can do to manufacturing word of mouth from a friend, which is having someone that someone trusts online say something good about your restaurant.
Okay, great. This pretty much wraps up our panel discussion. So anybody, if you want to get to know Loretta Ching, the food safety inspector, Norman Earn, who is SBA specialist and the public officer, and then Christine Dolan, who runs Chopstick Murphy's Food Blog. If any of you want to talk to them afterwards, they're going to be sticking around for a little while. Talk to them. All right, thank you so much.